Hi, this is Hot Chocolate with Paul, and for today I thought I would talk about what it's like to be a very tall person, what my life is like. I'm 6'5", and according to a statistic that I read recently, that means I am taller than 99% of people in the world. I have to admit that it's very rare that I go out and I find somebody that's my height or taller. So most of the time when I'm around people, I'm the tallest person around. Is it a great life? I don't see it that way. There's advantages and disadvantages. One of the obvious advantages is that I can see over other people's heads when I'm in a crowd, so that's convenient. If I go to a concert, obviously I don't have too much trouble seeing what's up on the stage if everybody's standing up. I'm very, very conscious of the fact that I'm blocking the view of people behind me. So what I tend to do is either stand in one spot or dance in one spot without doing any side-to-side motion, because I know that whoever is behind me probably has themselves adjusted so that they can see on one side of me or the other. So if you see me at a concert doing any kind of a dance that looks kind of weird to you, it's because I'm enjoying myself, but at the same time, I'm being conscious of people behind me. One of the biggest drawbacks is lack of legroom in certain places. And if I'm in a theater, a lot of theaters are not made with a lot of legroom. So when I can choose a seat, I typically choose a seat on the aisle so that I can stick my legs out into the aisle a little bit, or even just my knees if I need to. Or if it's not a bad spot, I like to take the front row whenever possible. That gives me a little bit of legroom. Or some of these other places that are within the theater that might have a rail in front of them, when a seat section comes or goes, or wherever it ends or whatever. So I'll try to do that. Sitting in economy coach on an airplane is my biggest nightmare. Because in that case, my knees are up against the seat in front of me. There's really no opportunity for me to spread my legs out at all. My knees are up against the seat in front of me, and if the person in front of me decides to lean their seat back, even that tiny inch or whatever it is that the seat actually goes back is enough to make it more miserable for me. So I'm one of those people that is basically required to pay extra for an economy plus seat, or if I can find a decent enough deal and it's a longer flight, then I'll try to get first class or business class. But, that's expensive, and it's not always realistic for me to do that. If it's a 1 or 2 hour flight, I'll just suck it up the best I can and just deal with it. I used to be so avid about getting window seats, but now I'm recognizing, because I like to watch out the window, but now I'm recognizing that sometimes an aisle seat is just better for me in a plane, because I don't have to worry about, I can try to move my knees a little bit to stick out a little bit, but I also don't have to worry about trying to get past somebody that's already sitting in the aisle seat if I had to go use the bathroom or something. And even there with the overhead bins, it's difficult for me to kind of crunch myself down a little bit while I'm trying to get out of the seat. So it's claustrophobic. And when I drive a school bus, I like driving the big buses because they feel more roomy to me. The smaller buses, sometimes they call them microbuses, you would think they're roomy enough, but the area that's immediately around the driver's seat has this console sticking out on the right side. And if I have to get up and move to the back passenger compartment of the bus for any reason, it's a little bit of a struggle for me to get past that. So I prefer driving the larger buses for that reason. Not to mention that it's just fun driving a large vehicle like that. I enjoy it. I like sitting up high. My own personal vehicle for many, many years has been a minivan. A lot of smaller cars are too small for me. The ceiling comes down low. I did have experience riding in a Volkswagen Beetle one time as a passenger. I was actually quite surprised by how roomy it was because the Volkswagen Beetle, the roof kind of curves upward in the middle and then comes back down again. And that was enough to give me some decent headroom. And then with the seat pushed all the way back, I had quite a bit of legroom in a Volkswagen Beetle. So it was a nice surprise to be a passenger in that. When it came to dating, I guess, I'll put it out there. I tended to, not that I only looked at women exclusively that were taller, but I tended to pay more attention to women that are taller. Stacey's about 5'9". She's, I guess you could call it a comfortable height for me. We're both used to it. I've had dance partners from time to time that are considerably shorter than me, and we make do. I do remember one time I was dancing with a friend. She was considerably shorter than me, and I believe we were doing the waltz, and then at the end of the waltz or something, she stopped and laughingly looked up to me and said, "My neck hurts from looking up at you." So a little bit of a fun situation there. I'm not sure why I'm as tall as I am. My dad, I think, was either 5'11" or 6 feet. My mother was, I think, somewhere around 5'5", something like that. I don't remember exactly. So for some reason I shot up. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm used to seeing things from the height that I'm at. Obviously, I wasn't always this tall as I was growing up. I was taller than my first grade teacher. She was a little nun, and I remember standing in the single file line that teachers are so well known for, organizing single file lines, and she's walking right past me, and it's like I'm actually looking down a little bit at her. I don't remember how tall I was in first grade, but tall enough to be taller than her. And I do remember growing up, since girls tend to grow faster than boys, there was one point in my grammar school years when there was another girl in the classroom who was tall, and I think at one point she was taller than me, but I don't think it lasted very long, or at least very close to my height. But I did see her in recent years, and I'm quite a bit taller than her now. I reached my point where I shot up. So I guess those are some thoughts that I had about what it's like being a tall person. That's all I got for today. This has been Hot Chocolate with Paul. Have a good day.